স্যার আমরা এখন শুরু করতে পারি, আমরা লাইভে আছি।
Yes, thank you. So, good morning. Welcome to MD clinical class. Today we have a student with us, 4 students to have, and our guest teacher is Professor Meshkat Chaudhary sir, and I am Dr. Ashok Datto and Dr. Kabiruzzaman are here. We'll discuss about on case, clinical case, followed by ECG, chest X-ray, echocardiogram, and instrument. Instrument we will discuss about pacemaker and related things. So welcome once again, Dr. Kabiruzzaman.
Okay, first of all, we'll start about the discussion of the long cases. Please start the taking history of the long case.
Meshkat sir.
Yes.
So history. I think he already taken the history.
So that he can present now, no?
So now he'll present or examine, then present. I think he can present the history first.
He can present the history first, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We'll just ask other examining, just examine the patient. And he will tell his history. Just he's getting preparation for history. By this time you can get preparation. You can examine. What examination?
Do the examination of the precordium. Precordium. Yes, you have to uncover the patient and he's taking the consent of the patient. That is very important, to touch the patient and be comfortable to the patient.
Meshkat sir, for short and long case, this exposure of the patient, especially in winter season and female patient, that is a very crucial issue for the patient's comfortness and privacy. What is your opinion or your suggestion? How much exposure is essential for complete short or long cases?
For female, naturally, we always maintain the privacy, and generally, it is not expected that they should the examiner should expose the patient. Generally speaking.
Yes, sir.
For male patient, generally they expose them and we allow. But if the concern is especially the winter season, then he can be allowed to not to uncover the patient, provided the finding can be well elicited during short case.
Yes.
But only during long case, a short period of time, they can expose and then again cover it quickly.
Thank you, sir. Till now, I am also confused how much exposure I will do for proper examination, so that I cannot miss any positive important findings.
Just for a while during chest examination.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Are you ready? So, your name and describe your history. Camera, go in front of camera. Yes, yes, yes.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Nurul Islam, MD final part examinee, July 2021.
Okay, that's
My patient, Mr. Bellal, 33 years old, male, non-smoker, non-diabetic, normotensive individual, fisherman by occupation, hailing from Borgona, admitted to this hospital through outpatient department with the complaints of shortness of effort-related shortness of breath for last 2 years, palpitation for the same duration, and occasional chest pain for last one year. According to the statement of my patient, he was reasonably well 2 years back. Then he noticed he became breathless on heavy exertion, which increased progressively over last 2 years, and for last 1 month his breathlessness increased so severe that his regular activity became difficult for him. He does not give any history of orthopnea or PND, no history of associated cough or any rest breathlessness. He also complains of palpitation for the same duration which he first noticed 2 years back, that come easily on mild exertion and relieved by rest. And palpitation become more worsen.
No cough, no palpitation.
Palpitation is there, but no cough,
No cough, no fever.
no fever. He does not give any. He also complains of occasional chest pain, mostly on exertion, which is central, associated with nausea, and that radiated to the jaw, and relieved by rest. And he does not give any history of prolonged fever or exposure to the TB patient. And
Okay, that's all, yeah? So shortness of breath, palpitation, and chest pain, 3 are the major complaints.
Okay.
So our next examinee, Dr. Asif, he examined, what he examined?
He completed the examination of the precordium. He told the findings of the precordial examination. Please come and stand here. Stand here. Face your towards the camera. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Asif. I have examined the precordium of my patient. The precordium examination of my patient reveals the shape of the chest is normal. There is no
A bit louder.
there is no visible impulse, and there is no scar mark. And apex beat is located in the left fifth intercostal space, which is just along the left mid clavicular line, which is the character of the apex beat is normal, and there is no left parasternal heave or epigastric pulsation, and there is no palpable P2. On auscultation, the first ultrasound is normal, and the second ultrasound is also normal. There is a pancystric murmur which is heard all over the precordium, but best heard in the left parasternal region in left third and fourth intercostal space, which is left third and fourth intercostal space, which is more prominent during inspiration. But there is no radiation of the murmur, and there is no radiation in the neck. So I also found a systolic thrill in the parasternal region, and the lung bases are cleared, and the grade of the murmur resembles 4/6. Sir.
Okay, so what is your provisional diagnosis? With this finding, you have a pansystolic murmur in this parasternal area. It's hard wide towards the precordium. but maximum intensity at the space, third and fourth interest of the space. And this does not have any classical radiation like what the name called axilla. So what is your diagnosis? What is
So from the clinical examination, this can be a case of ventriculoseptal defect, sir.
okay? One diagnosis then.
And I have some differentials. It can be a case of tricuspid regurgitation. There is also possibility of mitral regurgitation, sir.
Okay, if it would be a mitral regurgitation, then what could be your clinical clues to make you direct the diagnosis toward the
So in
mitral
case of mitral regurgitation, the first sound could be soft, and the murmur would be more appreciated in the apical area, and there could be radiation of the murmur towards the axilla, and the murmur would be best out in the breath hold after expiration.
Okay, is there any type of mitral regurgitation that lead to other radiation to other sites,
Yes, sir.
like the precordium?
Yes, sir. If the
Can you differentiate it?
so if the
Etiology.
if the posterior mitral leaflet is involved, then the murmur can radiate towards the base of the
Mitral valve prolapse.
yes, sir. In case of mitral valve prolapse,
Yes. In case of prolapse that lead to mitral regurgitation, whenever there is posterior leaflet prolapse, that murmur jet usually strikes the anterior wall of the left atrium, and that usually heard along the precordium, like in, and sometimes it may confused with the aortic stenosis.
Yes.
And other leaflet, that is AML, whenever it prolapse, then murmur may radiate to the axilla. And sometimes there may be central jet. These are most of the times they radiate towards the axilla, but these are differentiated. Okay. Then your provisional diagnosis, first diagnosis is the ventricular septal defect.
Yes.
Okay. Then can you appreciate what could be the size or severity of the VSD by auscultating this?
Is it small,
Small,
medium, or
moderate, or
large?
large? Okay, is it small or large? Just these things.
Small and large.
So,
Which one is most likely
sir-
for this patient with pensis to leak?
Sir,
Yes.
as the findings are prominent, it could be a large VSD, sir.
Actually, apply your common sense. This gentleman of 32 years old,
Yes, sir.
what is the natural history of the large VSD? Actually, after 1 or 2 years, they develop the on auscultation. The large VSD have the soft murmur.
Soft murmur, yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
The small VSD have the harsh
Hard
murmur.
murmur, yes.
One thing. Another thing, the patients with the large VSD, they will develop some sorts of Eisenmenger syndromes in this age, and most of them will die. So, considering the age of the patient, considering the intensity of the murmur, most probably this
Small
is a
VSD.
small
VSD.
VSD.
Yes.
Okay. Then what are the, you tell me one investigation that will confirm your diagnosis. One investigation.
Sir, echocardiography with all modalities.
Echocardiography.
Yes, sir.
Okay, echocardiographically, what are the points you want to know regarding the VSD?
First of all, I like to confirm the diagnosis by echocardiography, then the size, location, and the gradient, and sir, whether, and then sir, whether Eisenmenger developed or not, to assess the pulmonary hypertension and the operability of the VSD.
Yes, your size, location, chamber dimension, very important. And gradient, okay, you have talked it. Pulmonary pressure, very important, very important. So,
And the other thing that is very important, especially perimembranous VSD, associated aortic valve prolapse, aortic regurgitation. That is very important. Even in that actually make the very simple surgery to a complex surgery. So I like to request Meshkat sir. So I can tell you the short history. Patient 39 years old male having history of shortness of breath on effort, palpitation and chest pain occasionally on effort only. No history of acute chest pain, no history of nocturnal dyspnea, no history of orthopnea. And on examination, first and second heart sound normal, apex in the fifth intercostal space, nature of apex beat was
Normal, sir.
normal. And there is pansystolic murmur in the third, fourth left intercostal space, widely spread throughout the chest. There is no specific radiation. Sir, would you like to ask any question to the examinee
Yes.
or any points you want to highlight, sir?
First of all, I want to ask to Nurul Islam, who has presented the long case.
No, Islam.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Uh,
Yes, yes.
did not mention anything about hemoptysis. Was it important?
Yeah, it's important.
Have you asked it?
Yeah, I asked actually. I was
There is
about to
no
complete the negative history, but by this time it was.
You have not mentioned anything about swelling in any part of the body, especially pedal swelling.
Sorry, sir, didn't get it.
You have not mentioned anything about the swelling, associated swelling, either
No.
unilateral or bilateral swelling of the legs.
Swelling
He
history?
did not have any history of bilateral
You have-
leg swelling.
You have not mentioned it in negative history.
Did not mention it.
Yes, sir.
You have not mentioned anything about the seasonal variation of the shortness of breath.
Seasonal variation, have you asked about?
Yeah, I asked and I saw no diurnal variation and no seasonal variation.
You mentioned it. You have not mentioned anything about the family history of
Yes,
asthma or anything.
actually, I did not complete the history at all. No?
So
What-
these things you have missed. In the next time, definitively, you should be careful about not to miss these findings.
sir.
Bilateral pedal edema, seasonal or diurnal variation, family history, hemoptysis. Okay. Anything
Even history of unilateral swelling is also important. At some point of his life, if he has had suffer from unilateral swelling of the leg, that could have different implication for this shortness of breath, progressive exertional shortness of breath. Was it progressive? It was progressive according to history.
worsening? Yeah, it was worsening. Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned about the shortness of breath which restrict his usual work. What do you mean by usual work? Usual job or usual?
Normal household work.
Normal household works. Means
What-
class 3.
Class 4.
Class 4 with minimal exertion.
What do you mean by normal usual work?
Murmur, sir?
Normal work বলতে কি বোঝাচ্ছে মানে তার
Usual, yeah, that is very important.
He's a
CCS usual.
fisherman. He's a fisherman. He cannot do fishing without symptom, and even walking on the level also making him breathless.
Walking in the level for how many minutes?
How?
In what pace?
How long or how many minutes?
So you have not made things clear. You got it. Now you are saying that he is a fisherman. Probably you are mentioning about his restriction in professional work.
Yes.
But by usual work, we mean that when he goes to the washroom, when he changes his dress, he brushes his teeth and other things. Usual, normal, personal work that makes him into the category of NYHA class 3. So this point has to be very clear so that the examiner have this in his mind. From your statement, it was not clear whether he was having restriction, he was having shortness of breath during his professional work or his daily usual personal work. So you always try to make it clear because these two entity may have different implication as regard therapeutic interpretation, not for particularly this patient, but maybe as regards some valvular heart disease, or whether the patient fall into the category of NYHA class 3 or 2 will be important. So thing has to be very clear. Your history about shortness of breath was little bit short. And one thing I also want to mention, what just I have learned in recent time, we generally give our emphasis when we take history of shortness of breath on cardiovascular and respiratory system. But there are some other causes which does not include the respiratory and cardiovascular system, although rare, but some sort of muscular disorder due to involvement of the diaphragmatic muscle, although rare, but can be fall into the category of exertional shortness of breath. Also, we do not have to forget about the other causes like endocrine causes and anemia as causes for shortness, exertional shortness of breath. So your history should also highlight, because at the times you may have to make a comment on the history, not on the examination of the patient as a whole. You got it. So you have to have your mind about the causes for exertional shortness of breath, which can be broadly classified into respiratory cause, cardiac cause, and other miscellaneous cause. And among the miscellaneous cause, anemia, the thyroid disorder, and the musculoskeletal myopathies will be important. So all these things has to be there back in your mind. And when you are going to qualify the shortness of breath in terms of severity, then things has to be made very clear. And also don't forget about mentioning about the swelling, unilateral or bilateral, of the leg and the hemoptysis. This is all about shortness of breath. Your history on palpitation was similarly inadequate. So you try to improve all these things. Can you really mention why this palpitation is occurring in this patient, so that your history can highlight that probable causes for palpitation, particularly in this patient? Your history should be able to make it clear why a patient with ventricular septal defect should have a palpitation.
Thank you, sir.
Clear.
So now we can
তোমার
see
হিস্ট্রি থেকে যেন বোঝা যায় যে এই পেশেন্টে কেন প্যালপিটেশন হচ্ছে।
exactly palpitation কেন হচ্ছে, চেস্ট পেইন কেন হচ্ছে, সেটাও তোমাকে এক্সপ্লেইন করতে হবে। Sir, we can go
history
to
তে যেন
the
পরিষ্কার হয়।
examination now. Our next examining.
For example, this patient can have palpitation due to left ventricular volume overload. In that case, it will be exertional palpitation. Or if the patient, although rare in case of ventricular septal defect, and we do not know even whether this patient has both ventricular septal defect and atrial septal defect. Generally, when we have ventricular septal defect, the features of atrial septal defect submerge clinically. So maybe this patient can have paroxysmal arrhythmias. So in that case, the history would have been different. So make things very clear so that from the history, we can understand what you're going to talk about. Okay.
Okay. So now, Dr. Asif.
Emperor. Stand up.
His provisional diagnosis is sir VSD, and differential diagnosis mitral regurgitation, tricuspid regurgitation. Why not aortic stenosis?
Assalamu alaikum, sir. Yes, sir. Aortic stenosis can be another differential diagnosis, but I didn't mention it because, sir, I didn't find any radiation in the neck, and the second ultrasound was normal. That's
Yes.
why I initially didn't mention it.
So any question to Dr. Asif?
Asif, you forgot to mention about the trill, although you have mentioned it later. I'm little interested about knowing about the character of his apical impulse.
Apex, you mentioned that apex is normal. Grade 4/6 murmur, apex is normal in this age group. How much relevant? Do you think that this is relevant at this age group, VSD even small,
No, sir.
without LV hypertrophy?
The apex should be forceful and
Sustained
in my volume overload type of apex, sir. But I couldn't appreciate it, sir.
But he mentioned that apex is normal, left fifth intercostal space.
By that, I understand you meant that normal in location, normal in size, normal in character. Right? Asif. Okay, then if it is the case, then why you have mentioned that this case could be moderate or severe? Actually, what we get in moderate or severe?
If it is so, why did you
It is
mention that
moderate.
it is
If
severe,
it is moderate,
severe,
moderate to severe.
not
What
severe,
should
large beer? You mentioned that it is most likely large. Dr. Kobrijawan Bhai was telling if it is large at this age, definitively apex will be shifted. There will be some sign of Eisenmenger or reverse shunt, and so most likely this is, and murmur will be relatively softer, not pansystolic murmur, heart murmur. That indicates a small size VSD.
Asif, you have also not mentioned about the character of the murmur. In ventricular septal defect, there is very specific characteristic of the murmur. We know it is generally very small ventricular septal defect, give rise to very harsh murmur. On the other
Very
hand,
important.
murmur of
Murmur, very harsh murmur, rough, very rough.
always try to mention about the character of the murmur. The murmur of the ventricular septal defect usually radiates towards the apex. If you ever mention about the radiation, then among the negative history, you should specifically mention that it has got no radiation to it, neither to the neck, not to the apex. What was did you mention about the heart sounds
Yes, sir. So,
You mentioned that all the heart sounds are normal.
on the
There is,
heart
so
sound?
there is no features of pulmonary hypertension.
Had this patient moderate size ventricular septal defect, could you get any more murmur, any more sound, heart sound?
Any additional sound, moderate size
additional
VSD, any other additional sound?
Normal first and third heart sound.
Third
Second
heart sound, did you get? No third heart
I
sound.
couldn't appreciate, sir.
you could not appreciate. So probably we are dealing with small size ventricular septal defect.
Yes.
From
All things, since the apex is not shifted, the man is above 30 years old. There is no features of the sinus and clubbing. So most probably this is and character of the murmur, most probably this is a small VSD. That makes him sustain. Actually, by definition, small VSD means that all the chambers are normal, even pulmonary pressure is normal. Okay.
examination of the neck, and neck is also part of examination of the precordium. When you are examining precordium, you should mention about the neck. Did you look at the neck, Asif?
Yes, sir. I looked at the neck for whether there is any visible pulsation, but I missed the JBP examination, sir.
Okay.
You did not do the JBP examination. That is important. And examiner from far away, he will just observe whether you have make the patient in perfect position. So you should not miss it.
Another one important thing, I have seen you have turned the patient to the left lateral decubitus and apply your diaphragm of the chest, diaphragm of the stethoscope. Sorry, bell of the stethoscope.
Bell of the stethoscope.
Why did you done this? You are
Actually,
mentioning that you have get the systolic murmur.
no, actually, I like to defend him because newer cardiac stethoscope has got only diaphragm, no bell. So there, the technical, if you see the literature of that diaphragm, if you just press it hardly, that will act as a bell.
কবি সাহেব, জাসি সাহেব আসছেন? হ্যাঁ,
Actually, I think that could be new development for our clinical purpose. We will still rely on the bell of the stethoscope to see the maneuver, whether they don't. Okay, yeah, that's an advancement.
Newest model, they don't have any bell.
Bell, okay. So, what I want to emphasize, if you get the diastolic murmur, then you apply your bell.
Yes, sir.
But there is no.
Sir,
Another sense is that you can apply the bell when, in case of BSD, when, if there is any large shunt, there will be more blood across the mitral valve.
it can be
That may give you some sort of
diastolic
diastolic murmur, but that's very rare for the BSD.
I did it at a part of regular maneuver as I have been differential diagnosed MR. So I would look for associated MS or mid-diastolic marker in the
Okay.
vagal areas.
So we can go to our next.
Yes,
thing.
also it was important to look at the third heart sound.
Third heart sound, yeah, he mentioned, sir. There is no.
No, why you should use the bell
Yes.
in relation to using the bell.
Thank you.
Now ECG.
If you want to listen to the third heart sound, then you have to use the bell. That is another justification of
Yes, that's a very important point. Yes.
yes.
We'll switch over to the ECG.
ECG. First ECG, then chest X-ray, then we will go to the instrument. So you can come on this side. This is the 12 lead ECG. So you can describe. Huh?
Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Abdullah Harun, a PhD student. শোনা যায়?
শোনা যাচ্ছে হারুন, শোনা যাচ্ছে।
Louder, louder, louder.
This is a 12 lead standard surface ECG showing patient is in sinus rhythm and there is a short pair interval, and also there is delta wave is present. Heart rate is almost 75 beats per minute. So, and in lead B1, there is a QRS is negative. So this is WPW type pattern type B.
Actually, you have to follow the grammar. First, you have to mention the rate, then the rhythm, then you describe the associated QRS complex configuration delta wave like this. You have to then comment it. Okay. So your diagnosis is WPW syndrome type
B.
B.
Type B. So type B means whether it is right side or left side.
So this is right-sided.
Right sided.
because
So what
in
about
B1
the
there is,
Q wave in the 2-3 ABF?
right-sided, sir, anterior.
Right anterior. So why there is, if it is anterior, then inferior lead there is negative.
Negative.
So if it is anterior, it will be positive in inferior.
No,
So
sir,
it
right
comes
inferior. sir, sorry,
inferior. It is coming from
It is right
inferior. So why
inferior.
all inferior leads are negative? So is it, can it be inferior MI association? There is clear Q wave in 2-3 ABF.
Maybe, sir.
No. This is due to inferior wall
Inferior wall bypass tract.
abnormal depolarization.
That's a very tricky question in exam. Examiner will ask you whether there is MI or not, and you have to explain it.
There is features of LVAs, is it? Tall R in V5, V6, lead on AVL. Can you tell why it is like this? Is it LV hypertrophy?
No, sir.
No,
Because depolarization is
itself,
go-
yeah.
go-
So in WPW syndrome, as there is abnormal depolarization, you cannot comment on inferior MI, you cannot comment on LV hypertrophy because of abnormal depolarization. Sir, comment and question, sir.
No, it's all right. Very good questions have been solved. When you have WPW syndrome, you should not mention about left ventricular hypertrophy or old myocardial infarction. Can you tell me what are the causes of what are the mimicker of old myocardial infarction? আমরা ইনফেরিয়ার মায়োকার্ডিয়াল ইনফাকশন বলেছি, তারপর এখন WPW সিনড্রোম কি আর কি সিচুয়েশনে এরকম মানে ভুল হইতে পারে? আসলে এমআই নাই কিন্তু এমআই মনে হতে পারে।
MI নাই কিন্তু inferior MI বলছি। What are the other condition where the ECG findings looks like inferior MI, but that is not actually inferior MI?
Sir, anterior fascicular block.
Left axis deviation, but
লেফট ভেন্ট্রিকুলার হেমি ব্লক, ওকে।
then
Then, sir, pacing.
pacing maybe, yes. HCM sometimes
Yes.
produce like this.
এইচসি খুবই ভালো বলছো। এগুলো বোনাস কোশ্চেনের জন্য, বোনাস মার্কের জন্য জিজ্ঞেস করা হয়, কিন্তু তোমার ইন্টিগ্রিটিটা দেখা হয় যে ইউ হ্যাভ ইন্টিগ্রিটি অফ মাইন্ড অল দ্য ওয়ে। ওয়েল অ্যান্সার্ড।
Thank you, sir. We can go to the next X-ray. Another ECG. So next 12 lead ECG. Your name, please. Name just.
Sir, Kamrul Hassan. I'm Dr. Kamrul Hassan, phase B student.
Yes.
Be a bit louder and take the mouth.
Yes. Close. Yes.
Sir, this is sir, 12 bit surface is showing, heart rate is irregular, and with first ventricular heart rate is irregular and first ventricular rate, and there is a ST elevation in the lead 2-3 ABF, and there 2-3 ABF, and the and there is a long RF in the B5 B6. So madam, is a case of acute ST elevation and inferior MI with atrial fibrillation with first ventricular rate.
Acute MI inferior, STEMI, atrial fibrillation,
With first ventricular rate.
first ventricular rate.
Would you comment about the ischemia? There is ST
There is
segment
ST.
depression in the obvious depression in the 5 and 6.
Yes, sir.
And other thing
Okay.
also important, in V1 there is no significant R wave, but in V2, if you see R wave height is quite significant. So can it be associated with inferior MI, maybe associated
sir.
with
Yes, yes.
posterior?
Posterior extension.
Maybe.
Maybe.
So what are the other way you can confirm that there is associated posterior MI? What
Sir,
are the other way you can confirm it? Any other way you can confirm that definitively this is posterior MI? This is the indirect mirror image or a reverse image.
posterior side থেকে ECG করে সব বুঝতে পারবো।
Posterior
7, 9, 8, 9
8, 9
Yes, sir.
subscapular. Yes. So
Mr.
what
Shah?
is the treatment of this atrial fibrillation here?
It,
Do you think that it needs specific any treatment of atrial fibrillation here, or do you target the revascularization only?
revascularization and beta blocker and revascularization.
Revascularization.
Main of treatment.
Yes. Sir, comment, sir.
Actually, whether you will put the beta blocker or other medication, that depends upon the clinical condition of the patient.
Yes, sir.
If it is hypertensive patient, inferior MI posterior extension is associated with shock, then you have to choose the other molecule other than the beta blocker. Okay.
Thank you.
So your answer should be depends upon the
Depends on
clinical
patient
condition. of the
clinical
patient.
condition.
So Mishkat sir, would you comment about sir?
Yes,
Question or comment, sir?
the way you described the ECG was little unacceptable to me, because you said about the heart rate. You say about the regular RR interval was irregular or something like that, and also you have not mentioned about absence of P wave.
So before telling atrial fibrillation, at least you should tell there is no P wave.
Here,
There is fibrillatory wave, number one. Number
Yes, sir.
two, heart rate is rapid, tachycardia, RR interval is irregular.
Yes.
So these two things you have to mention before
comment on atrial
comment
fibrillation.
on atrial fibrillation.
Actually, style of description you should develop it. Style of description.
There was another secondary feature, which is variation in the amplitude of the R wave.
Variation of amplitude of R wave in
This is-
that happens in atrial fibrillation, first ventricular rate, even with SVT. So 2-3 AVF. So can you think about which coronary artery is involved? A bit advanced question, this one. 2-3 AVF, if you just notice on the ST elevation, which lead shows the highest ST elevation?
Lead 3, sir.
Lead 3 and AVF. In 2, it is less.
Less.
So most likely
Right.
involvement
Right corner.
right coronary, because lead 2 is in the 45 degree, means on the left side. So most likely this is right coronary involvement.
Another supporting point is ST depression in AVL.
Yes, sir.
ST depression in AVL.
AVL.
Yes.
It again support the possibility of right involvement of the right coronary.
Suppose this patient come to you with this heart rate, blood pressure is 90/60, 2 hours history of chest pain. What are the treatment option? Just rapidly, few points.
Patient antiplatelet
Antiplatelet,
দিব স্যার স্ট্যাটিন দিব
statin,
তারপর স্যার পেশেন্টকে এমসিসিউ তে অ্যাডমিট করে যদি প্রাইমারি ফিসে করা যায় প্রাইমারি ফিসে এন্ড ইফ নট অ্যাভেলেবল দেন স্ট্রেপ্টোকাইনেস
streptokinase.
and inotrops with inotrope support.
What inotrops they will provide for this with heart rate of 120, 130?
I will prepare
And other thing that is very much important to rule out the RV infarction. Definitely RV infarction if you on the right sided lead, right side chest lead, if you get the ST elevation, it is 2-3 hours. That may be ST elevation, then you have to give the fluid. That is also important before starting inotrops. Sir, we can go to the next.
Yes, but I did not like again the way he answered, because it indicates that probably your attendant at the bedside is relatively infrequent. Because a patient may have a blood pressure of 19/60, but still he may have good perfusion, peripheral perfusion. Whether the patient is going to the shock or whether the patient already have got the features of cardiogenic shock is always important. If
Yes.
the patient is stable all the way, although his blood pressure is 90/60.
So 90/60 does not always indicate the patient is in shock. Sometimes many female patients, normal blood pressure is 90/60 with good perfusion, peripheral perfusion. So pulse volume is also important.
Inotropic agent in the context of myocardial infarction should be considered very, very cautiously.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, yes, before that, it could be a smarter answer if you mentioned that I'll be evaluating whether the patient has got right ventricular involvement, and the cause for this hypertension is involvement of the right ventricle. In that case, as mentioned, Dr. Asho, the management would have been different. So it indicates that you do not attend patient regularly, because myocardial infarction is a common presentation, especially in National Heart Foundation. And if you really manage all this type of case regularly, then this is the answer should come very spontaneously.
Yes. RV infarction, posterior infarction.
পরীক্ষার সময় এরকম ইমপ্রেশন দিবে না যাতে মনে হয় যে তুমি আসলে রোগগুলো দেখো নাই। খুব সিম্পল জিনিস, কিন্তু এগুলো খুব ভাইটাল। পরীক্ষা যেমন ধরো তুমি যদি রাইট কিংবা লেফট না বলতে পারতো, তেমন হয়তো অপরাধ হতো না। কিন্তু এখন যেভাবে তুমি অ্যান্সারটা দিলে সেই অ্যান্সারটা ইন্ডিকেট করে যে তুমি আসলে প্র্যাকটিক্যালি ম্যানেজ করো নাই। এই জন্য এগুলো খুব খেয়াল করতে হয় পরীক্ষার সময়, যে কোথায় মানে কোথায় তোমার ইমপ্রেশনটা খারাপ হয়ে যেতে পারে। ঠিক আছে।
Okay, so next. So we can go to the X-ray.
So now the X-ray chest.
Now chest X-ray.
You describe it first.
Assalamu alaikum.
You can go close if you think
So-
that you are missing anything.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr.
Loud, loud,
Abdullah
loud.
Khan. This is chest X-ray PA view showing. There is a generator in the left side and 3 leads, one in the right ventricle, one in the right atrium, and another in the left ventricle. And there is no shock coil. Cardiac shadow is almost approximately normal, and lung fields are clear. Trachea is centrally placed. So this is maybe CRT, X-ray of CRT.
CRT with pacing, yes, pacing. So where is the left lead, LV lead? Is it in the
Is a sinus corner?
coronary
Coronary
sinus?
sinus.
Which coronary sinus, which branch or which tributary of the coronary sinus you usually left lead is placed?
Left medium large cardiac vein.
No, large cardiac vein follow the anterior wall. So that should not be the good place. Not in the middle cardiac vein. Left ventricular. Left ventricular tributary. So what is the difference between the CRTP and CRTD?
CRT-D হচ্ছে able to do shock.
Shock. So there will be shocking coil in
shock
the,
coil.
where is the shocking coil usually placed in RV lead?
Usually in the medium.
One in the close to the distal tip, other is in the at the level of
At the level of sorry,
SVC, not in the right
SVC,
atrium.
SVC.
SVC, definitively that should be in the SVC, other in the right ventricle.
right ventricle.
Number 2. If you see, this is cardiac shadow is definitively a bit enlarged, not so much
Slightly
enlarged, but
enlarged.
anyhow enlarged. Number 1. Number 2, can you tell 2 condition? On condition, what is the indication of this CRT? Indication.
Indication of CRT, sir, if there is QRS more than 150.
First thing is the heart failure.
Heart failure, yes, sir.
Refractory to
Refractory heart medication.
medication means guideline directed medication at
medical
least for
therapy.
3 months.
At least for
If
3
the
months.
patient is symptomatic, কত symptom থাকবে? Class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4?
স্যার যদি ইনজেকশন ফ্রেকশন বিলো 35 হয় তাহলে ক্লাস 2,
Class 2, class 3 or ambulatory class 4?
ক্লাস 3 or 4, আর যদি less than 30 থাকে তাহলে ক্লাস 1.
No,
This
no,
is
no.
not-
Class 1
not
that is
like-
for ICD. That is the different issue. Class 1
Another is the ejection fraction. You are asking about the NYHA.
anyways. So ejection fraction less than 35. Number 2 patient class 2, 3 or ambulatory class 4 symptom. And number 3 is the ECG diagnosis. LBB, QRS duration more than 150.
QRS more than 150, yes, sir.
Okay. So that may be the cardiomyopathy.
Cardiomyopathy.
So which cardiomyopathy will you suggest CRTP and which cardiomyopathy will suggest CRTD? Cardiomyopathy has got how many variety of cardiomyopathy? Yesterday there was IPD, our Heart Foundation CCD class. Cardiomyopathy may be
maybe sir dilated,
Dilated maybe
maybe
types.
ischemic and non-ischemic.
non-ischemic. Number 2,
Number 2 হচ্ছে স্যার hypertrophic cardiomyopathy,
number 3,
তারপর হচ্ছে স্যার
restrictive cardiomyopathy.
restrictive cardiomyopathy.
And other variety, that is special variety, is arrhythmogenic RV
Right
cardiomyopathy.
ventricular.
So this CRTP is mostly indicated in case of low risk of arrhythmia, low risk of sudden cardiac death, means NIDCM, non-ischemic cardiomyopathy. Not
yes.
always, but majority case. In case of ischemic cardiomyopathy, usually CRTD is preferable because chance of arrhythmia from fibrosis
Yes,
is
sir.
more likely. Okay. Sir, questions or any? Question or any comments, sir?
অশোক, আপনি তো ইলেকট্রোফিজিওলজির উপর ট্রেনিং করা আছে, তাই না?
Training কিছুদিন, not an dedicated.
ডেডিকেটেড না?
This patient, actually, this is the patient discharged few days back, last week discharged.
আচ্ছা,
That was coronary normal, 65 years old male, and very sick patient, but now improved a lot in 2 weeks.
আচ্ছা। আমি একটা প্রশ্ন করি ওকে, মানে
Sir.
মানে we are not really familiar with all this X-ray nowadays because our center do not perform this CRT-D process and other. To me, it appears to be a dual chamber pacemaker. How you will defend?
Sir is telling that it is a dual chamber pacemaker. How will you
to-
defend that this is the biventricular with atrial pacemaker? How will you defend? With anything?
Sir,
আমার কাছে মনে হয় এটা ডুয়েল চেম্বার পেসমেকার, লিডটা হয়তো ঠিক মতো ইসে নাই। এটা কিভাবে ডিফেন্ড করবা তুমি?
First হচ্ছে lead, how many leads are there?
3 leads.
So 3 leads.
বলো কোথায় কোথায় লিডগুলা? আমি তো দুইটা দেখতে পাচ্ছি।
রাইট ভেন্ট্রিকল, তারপর রাইট এট্রিয়াম আর হচ্ছে স্যার লেফট ভেন্ট্রিকল।
ওকে,
না-
there are
ওটা-
3 leads.
ডুয়াল চেম্বারে স্যার ইউজুয়ালি রাইট এট্রিয়াম এন্ড রাইট ভেন্ট্রিকল।
Right attempt. So
হুম, হুম।
স্যার যেটা বললেন যে dual chamber single lead কি হতে পারে? This is now rarely used, but anyhow you will get the old
আগে
Dual-
আগে
আগে হতো. So how it is possible dual chamber but single lead? Technically, how it is possible? And what is the indication? So if you have got the sinus node normal, there is only AV conduction defect. Dual lead means there is dual chamber means atrial chamber is sensed by a coil in the same lead. RV lead is there. There is a coil just the part of the lead that remain in the right atrium, means few centimeter from the tip of the RV lead. There is a coil that will sense the atrium, and after sensing, that will produce a pacing spike to the tip. So single lead, double chamber. Next, echo. This is Ash Kobir bhai.
So now the session is with echo. It's a still picture. There is a 4 picture in one canvas. So who will describe this? You describe it. Step one by one. First, we see the page 1, image 1, then go to the right side, then lower, then the right. Tell the view and the findings. It's a very obvious echo image, huh? Very obvious.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. Sir, echocardiography in left upper panel shows
A bit louder, louder.
the parasternal long axis view with color Doppler imaging shows the sorry, there is an abnormal flow or mosaic flow in interventricular septum. So that interventricular septum on the parasternal lungs in the right upper panel show there is echo dropout in the interventricular septum. Left to assert subcostal chamber view. So parasternal short axis view at the short axis with because sir in the center the aortic valve is aortic. Yes, sir. LVOT, yes. Right, right at yes. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
So that is the aorta. And this is the echo dropout. There is echo dropout. Can you find out now? Shamim, just place a marker. Yes, yes, that is the echo dropout. So considering all the images, you tell me the first the diagnosis, and you tell me the location of the. What is the diagnosis?
This is ventricular septal defect, sir.
Okay, ventricular septal, right. Now, what is the type of the ventricular septal defect?
Sir, it seems to be, sir, membranous.
Actually, you can see this is the defect very contiguous to the aortic valve. And this is the portion of the outlet septum of the IVS. And in short axis, this is the short axis, this is the VSD. And you can see this whole part is the outlet part of the septum. Because this is the RVOT and this is the LVOT. And this septum is separating the LVOT and RVOT. So this is the outlet part of the septum. So this outlet part, this is the portion for location of the membranous part of the IVS, and this is the muscular part of the outlet septum. So the BSD gap have made the membranous part, including the muscular part of the anterior septum. So this is a large BSD involving the membranous part and the outlet muscular part. So with your description should be there is a BSD involving the membranous part with extension towards the outlet part, And this is the way to decide about this. If you find any gap in the classical parasternal long axis, and that gap extends up to the basal part of the septal lip. This is the septal lip of the tricuspid valve. So you can now decide that this is the membranous VSD with extension towards the outlet part, and then size is not measured here. So most probably it could be a large VSD. Okay, and this is the subcostal view, subcostal frontal or long axis view, and this is the aorta. This is the aorta, and this is the VSD. This is the VSD. So any part that is very contiguous with the root of the aorta, that is the outlet part. So from this view, we can decide that this is the outlet VSD. Okay. Then what are the things you will measure for VSD? What are the echocardiographic parameter you will include in your study
Sir,
that you have mentioned in earlier
sir.
talkings?
I will measure other than the defect size and gradient. I will measure the chamber dimension as a pulmonary arterial pressure, and the QPQS ratio is also measured.
If there is, if there are many things, why you will mention that the chamber dimension? Why chamber dimension is important for VSD? And which are the chambers you will expect to be dilated?
So, initially, sir, so the left ventricle will be dilated. Then later on, it may involve the right ventricle too, and
When right ventricle will be dilated?
so when there is the reversal of the shunt. So,
You are talking with your gauging sense, not from knowledge. Not from knowledge. Actually, unrestricted or more than small VSD will lead to dilatation of the both LA and LB. If there is Eisenmenger syndrome, in the initial part, all chamber size will be normal. Later on, due to severe RV pulmonary hypertension, when it causes the RV dysfunction, then RV will dilate. Otherwise not. So long RV function is good, it will hypertrophy, but chamber will not be dilated. So for chamber dimension, actually LA and LB is important to indicate that there is QP/QS ratio more than 1.5:1. So this is operable. It indicates that at least the pulmonary vascular resistance is not above the systemic resistance. Okay. So chamber dimensions are important. Shomeskat sir, would you please comment about this?
There should not be anything left after you have spoken as regard echocardiography. আমি কিছু জিনিস শিখতে পারলাম আজকে। আমরা সবসময় ইকোকার্ডিওগ্রাফির আনট্রেন্ড হলে যা হয় আর কি, ভেন্ট্রিকুলার সেপ্টাল ডিফেক্ট হলে লোকেশনটা কখনোই বলতে পারি নাই, সারা জীবন মনে হয়েছে এটা খুব কঠিন জিনিস। মাইট্রাল সময় মনে হয়েছে যে এটা অরিজিনটা কি সেটা বলতে পারতেছি না, কিন্তু প্রথমে জীবনে যদি শিখে যেতাম তাহলে হয়তো সারা জীবন আর এটার অসুবিধা হতো না। Because ventricular septal defect and mitral regurgitation both are common, especially in echocardiographic practice. Generally, as the examiner, we do not go up to that depth, where is the location, because we really had little idea about that. But it is always good to know about the location, because ventricular septal defect is common in day-to-day practice. So is mitral regurgitation. So we should know about the cause we should be able to find out the cause for mitral regurgitation echocardiographically. These are the things actually we have not done throughout our life. But you can learn it from very beginning in your life, because you have got very good, very, very good echocardiographer, very, very good teachers who are doing echocardiography so smartly. We are still happy to be their student, because these knowledge are very useful.
Okay. Now we'll go to switch to the instrument.
Our last item is the instrument, that is. So that is the picture. We have got the real thing, not the dummy. So this is a very common instrument placed in exam. And this is also for us bread and butter in our practical life. We have to know very essentially, that is very important to provide all the information to the patient and for diagnosis, follow-up, and for therapeutic purpose. So this is the instrument in the picture, and other instrument is on his hand. So describe your instrument on the left side, left arm. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Nurul Islam. Picture on the left side showing pacemaker generator, including battery and
If you please a little bit louder.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome.
Picture on the left side showing the pacemaker generator with battery and 2 lead receiving port. And on the right side, the pacemaker, permanent pacemaker lead system.
Yes.
On the lead system, there is a this is the proximal end that connected to the lead receiving port, and there is the distal cord, this is the anode, and this is a bipolar lead system, and there is
it screwing or tiny? Screwing or tiny? You see, tip is bland and there is a gap or pore inside, and this pore is, there is a screw inside that one. When you rotate this proximal end metallic part, this screw will come out, and that will go into the myocardium. So this is screwing. In tiny lead, there is other side.
Anchor-
Yeah, yes.
anchoring in the
How many
distal end.
times? 3, 4, 5?
Three.
So which are commonly used nowadays?
Nowadays, screwing system is using
Screwing for
active
ventricle.
fixation.
Active fixation. So this is the pacemaker generator.
Yes, sir.
So can you tell some parts of the pacemaker generator?
Here it is 2 lead receiving port
Port,
and metal body
metal body,
and battery system inside,
battery system, and
and pacemaker generator.
generating component. Yes. So this is the dual
Dual
chamber.
chamber pacemaker. Upper port is atrial, lower port is ventricular.
Ventricular, that is demarcated there. What are the indication of pacemaker here?
As a whole indication of the pacemaker implantation, permanent pacemaker implantation is complete heart block with complete heart block,
Complete heart block. Any other thing?
symptomatic second degree heart block,
Yes.
and 6 sinus syndrome,
Fixed sinus syndrome.
symptomatic 6 sinus syndrome. Sometime in permanent AF after AV node ablation.
Permanent AF. Permanent or chronic AF? Permanent chronic. Chronic AF, without AV node ablation, there is indication of complete, there is indication in chronic AF. What are the indication in chronic AF? Chronic AF with complete heart block patient.
Chronic AF with complete
How
heart block.
the ECG looks like?
There will be bradycardia, ventricular complex will be less than 40 around,
Yes.
and the atrial component will be beating on its own, and the fibrillary wave will be visible in between.
Yes. RR interval will be regular or irregular?
RR interval will be regular.
Regular. That is very important. In atrial fibrillation, AV conduction is normal, there will be irregular RR interval. That may be the wide complex, that may be the narrow complex. But if there is AV node is blocked, then secondary pacemaker is either bundle of his or below it, and that will produce impulse at a regular interval, usually at a regular interval. Sometimes there may be intermittent loss of beat, but usually that is regular. That is very important. And this is the indication of pacemaker with chronic atrial fibrillation, even if you don't do the AV node ablation. So that is natural AV node block. Yes. So this is the RV lead. What are the advantage of this screwing lead and disadvantage or advantage of tiny lead?
This screwing lead is an active fixation, and there is less chance of lead displacement,
Yes.
and also at the implantation side there is less trauma, so there will be less edema and less.
What is the advantage of tiny lead? Sorry. So this is the tip of the lead. Screw is inside here, that will come out. And there is one other advantage of screwing lead is active fixation. So you can put the lead anywhere in the RV, maybe in the septum, proximal mid or distal septum, maybe in the apex, inferior lead, anywhere you can put, especially for septal placement, that will reduce the chance of LV or RV dysfunction. Screwing lead is very important, number one. Number two, screwing lead active fixation, but even after few years, if you want to retract the lead, means remove out the lead, with descrewing of the lead, easily it can be removed out. But in case of tiny lead, that fixed with the muscle. So it is very much difficult after 1 to 3 years, very much difficult to move out, retract the lead. So this is the advantage of screwing lead. And chance of displacement is also high
More
in
tying lead.
tiny lead. In case of right atrial lead, usually we put tiny lead, but sometimes we can do the screwing lead. What are the indication of screwing lead in the right atrium? Right atrial lead, always we put the
Tying
screwing lead.
Oh,
If we see any patient with
very large atrium.
large atrium, no, that is not actually, we can put. When the right auricle is not there,
Okay.
after
After
surgery,
surgery.
that may be the valve surgery, that may be
Or
the CABG.
CMC.
So right auricle is usually excised. So tiny lead in the right atrium is pre-shaped U-curve like. So usually it goes to the right auricle only. And that remain like this. But in screw lead, we can put screw on the lateral wall, we can put on the septum of the right atrium, even in the auricle also.
Okay, you have said one term, permanent atrial fibrillation. Is there any term like this?
Yes, sir. This is a new term used in the new guideline of the
Yes,
ESC
permanent.
2020, where the both physician and patient both accepted atrial fibrillation as the permanent pathology, and they will not try any rhythm control strategy for this patient further. That is defined as a permanent atrial fibrillation.
Yes. What is the complication of this pacemaker implantation during or after?
During procedure, there may be the exercise site complication, and bleeding and local injury to the trauma, or during implant fixation, there might be free wall rupture or
Very rare,
perforation,
very
rarely.
rare.
And
That more happens in temporary lead. This lead is very much flexible, difficult to penetrate the right ventricle, even free wall if you put or screen in the free wall, very rarely.
complication may be there in the pocket, creation of the pocket.
On complication, you must tell when you do the duty in the ward or in the
Pneumothorax.
CCU. Pneumothorax. And all patients should do routine chest X-ray
after implantation.
after procedure. যদিও আমরা করি না, but all patients, especially elderly patients, COPD patient, pneumothorax sometimes become fatal. Initially there may be mild. After going into CCU patient coughing, then it will produce tension pneumothorax, especially in COPD patient. Happens in our CCU also. During procedure, patient is okay. After 2-3 hours, suddenly patient collapse.
Mishkat sir, will you comment, sir?
আমি যে একটা কোশ্চেন করতে চাই, ওকে?
হ্যাঁ।
You look at the pacemaker generator, there is a note DDR. What does it mean? DDR.
Very important. DDDR. 3D and R.
Dual chamber pacing, dual chamber sensing, and both R is rate responsive, and third D is
আরেকটা ডি, থার্ড ডিটা কি?
DPI, what does it
inhibitory
mean?
or
স্টিমুলেটরি, না?
Inhibitory or
stimulatory.
so all are dual with rate response.
rate
The rate response কেন বলে এটাকে?
Actually, in case of chronotropic incompetence patient, when there is a metabolic demand increase of patient exercising, there is need to increase the heart rate to maintain the normal activity.
Eখানে hot sensor work.
There are 3 sensor work actually. One is the tidal volume, minute ventilation. Another is
In case of ICD, and CRTD, that is important. But here, movement of the patient.
movement of the
actually.
patient.
So sometimes even movement at lying position, if the patient moves, heart rate usually increases. So here the movement. What indicates the third D?
First D is chamber sense. Second D is chamber phase, and third D is either stimulatory or
Inhibitory. What is inhibitory?
inhibitory. Means patient, if patient is having its own rhythm, the pacemaker will be inhibitory.
Inhibitory.
তুমি কি পেসমেকার করার সময় ছিলা কখনো ভিতরে? হ্যাড ইউ এভার বিন ইন দ্য অপারেশন থিয়েটার, ক্যাথ ল্যাব?
Yes, sir.
What are the parameters that the operator fixes?
প্যারামিটার যেটা আমরা দেখি পেসমেকার সেটআপের সময়,
Threshold,
থ্রেশহোল্ড,
output,
সেন্সিটিভিটি,
sensitivity, and this all.
কিরকম রাখে সাধারণত থ্রেশহোল্ড, আউটপুট?
First, we decide the threshold by lowering the
কত হলে পরে the operator are happy with?
থ্রেশহোল্ড
accept threshold হচ্ছে স্যার যখন আমি আউটপুটটা কমাতে কমাতে এমন লেভেল আসবো যখন হচ্ছে মানে এটা it cannot make a complex anymore.
কততে সাধারণত হ্যাপি হয়? কততে সাধারণত your operator are happy with?
particular RPM, lowest
At which?
voltage, lowest electricity should be less than 1.
Around 0.5.
0.5 sometimes we cannot achieve. Less than 1 is acceptable.
After deciding the threshold, we set the output. It will be usually twice plus 1, 2 into threshold plus 1. That's the safety margin.
That is true for temporary lead. Usually keep it like this, but in case of permanent, usually this is auto capture like this. Usually pacemaker take its own activity by judging the automatic threshold. What is sensitivity?
Sensitivity is the ability of the pacemaker to sense patient's own beat and to be
Inhibited. Sensitivity কত রাখি আমরা অ্যাক্টিয়ামের জন্য, ভেন্ট্রিকুলের জন্য? Sensitivity, what does it mean? High sensitive.
High sensitive means it will sense even in the lower
Smaller complex.
smaller complex.
So,
In that case, there may be the patient it may sense the T wave also.
You have also.
Sometimes
yes, that is important.
very dangerous.
Always, this is the reverse thing. Higher sensitivity means a smaller complex will be sensed. So TOA be sense, that may be difficult in case of right ventricular lift. And in case of atrial lift, higher sensitivity sometimes may sense the other muscular muscle. Sir, any comments, sir?
None, no more comment.
Exam related any questions, sir? DDDR.
না আর এক্সাম রিলেটেড এটা বোঝা গেল যে হলের মানে সে অ্যাটেন্ড করে কিনা, এক্সামিনার্সের পার্সপেক্টিভ যে সে আসলে রেগুলার কিছু অ্যাটেন্ড করছে কিনা সেটা দেখা, পোস্টের মাধ্যমে সেটা বের করা আর কি।
ফলো আপ কিভাবে করবেন?
ভালো ভালো করছে সে।
হ্যাঁ।
He answered very nicely really.
মিস করছে। নিউমোথ্রাক্স ভেরি ক্রুশিয়াল সব সময় অলওয়েজ। হেমাটোমা ঠিক আছে, রাপচার ঠিক আছে, কিন্তু নিউমোথ্রাক্স ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট।
পাংচার, বিশেষ করে পাংচার যদি করে, এখন বোধহয় পাংচার করে বেশি করা হয় না, আমাদের সময় কাট ডাউন বেশি করা হতো।
আর এখন তো ওই এখন নতুন সিস্টার, নতুন অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্ট যাদেরকে পাই, এদেরকে স্যার আমি দু একটা দেখা যায় ইয়ে যেটা ভেন খোঁজার পরে ওরা জানে না যে কোনটার পরে কোনটা নিতে হবে। হ্যাঁ, আমি বলি যে ইয়ার দাও, ইয়েলো রিট্রাক্টর খুঁজে পাওয়া যায় না, আইরিশ ফরসেপ খুঁজে পাওয়া যায় না, এগুলো থাকে না অনেক সময় ইনস্ট্রুমেন্টের মধ্যে।
আচ্ছা,
অলমোস্ট 99
সবই পাংচার করে করো এখন, করেন এখন
স্যার, এটা ওই সময় স্বল্পতার জন্য, বাট ডেফিনেটিভলি কাট ডাউন ইজ বেটার। লিড ফ্র্যাকচার, লিড লঞ্জিভিটি সবকিছু যদি আমরা চিন্তা করি, এখন কিছুটা হলেও অনেক সময় যেটা দেখা যায় সাবক্লেভিয়ান পাংচার, যেটা সাবক্লেভিয়ান মিন্স মোর টুয়ার্ডস দ্য লিম্বস, পাংচারে অনেক সময় যেটা দেখা যায় লিড ডিস্টরশন হয়, ফ্র্যাকচার হয়, ইনসুলেটর রাপচার হয়। আর অ্যাক্সিলারি পাংচারে তো একটু সমস্যা, একটা হচ্ছে নিউমোথ্রাক্সের পসিবিলিটি বেড়ে যায়, আবার হেমাটোমা, আর্টেরিয়াল পাংচার এগুলো হয় আর কি।
Now we are near to end of our session. Should we conclude the session, sir? With your permission,
we can conclude the session.
conclude the session. Okay, thank you all
Thank
for
Thank you,
participation.
Kolim Bhai, thank you, and Dr. Shamim for arranging this session, and thank you all the students. Take care. Thank you, sir.
আচ্ছা, আল্লাহ হাফেজ, থ্যাংক ইউ ফর ইনভাইটিং মি।